in today's video, we're going to be talking about the Dear Future Wifey podcast host, Latteras Whitfield. So recently I saw that he finally got married. So I'm like, oh, wow, congratulations. Happy for him. I think that's the whole premise of his podcast, was to find his future wifey. And, it's not my thing, it's not my style, but hey, a lot of people like it. It just comes off as very Christian-y, just too overly religious. So I never really found myself drawn to the podcast. Only reason why I really know about the podcast is because of the lady and her wig fell off, the comedian, went viral a few years ago. So I came across a video and I was like, okay, let me look it up. So he recently got married back in December. And, looked like it was a beautiful wedding. But I was doing a little bit of digging and a little bit of research. It's a lot of controversy around this guy.
Pressure started rising. Latteras stated in one of his interviews that he was actually going to get married in 2026 and he would be engaged by the end of the year 2025. Now, people were in an uproar like, okay, he's going to get engaged. How do you know? Well, he, of course, felt the Holy Spirit. The Spirit told him by 2025, you are married. Now, you see where I say everything with you, Latteras, is so performative. Everything is building momentum. Now, you swear that for your part, you will give up the fame all in one day. But I beg to differ. And somebody had to get you together and say, well, if you found the partner for you, you don't have to give it up. But you already knew this. This was just yet another performative one-liner that you have to tell the people to just reel the people in, especially the young single women. You are very smart on the marketing though, Latteras. I gotta give that to you. You very smart. So this brings us to Latteras doing a spread in Ebony magazine announcing his engagement. Latteras, I want to ask you this question before we move even further. Are you in love or are you in some kind of spiritual contract with your followers? Because when we really get into whatever you said in that magazine article, I'm not convinced. See, your transparency, Latteras, is a strategic move to me. Everything you do is strategic. But a lot of these people in the churches, they're not catching on. You monetize on that too. Very smart, Latteras. You're not as good of a guy as people think. But that's neither here nor there. Just another church that uses transparency as a gimmick, by that way outing your flaws.
Now, I won't say that I'm shocked, right? Because whenever his clips would pop up, something in my head would be like, I don't know, whenever I would see the host never sat right with me. And something kind of was just always like, like, okay, I see you got your podcast and everything. But to me, the podcast, Latteras comes off disingenuous. Now, I've always kind of just kept it to myself. I'm like, oh, okay, maybe it's just me, because I'm, me being crazy, and I'm always like, I overthink everything. So when I, started to look into it a bit more, I'm like, oh, okay, a lot of other people are feeling the same way about Latteras. Whole brand, his whole persona comes off as very stunty, very performative. It doesn't come from the most genuine place. And I already felt that even without watching any of the podcast. It's that name, right? Dear Future Wifey. With naming your podcast that, it's like, I'm just looking for my wife and I dedicate this podcast to her and I will, once I find her, this podcast is for her. And it's just like, okay, dude, like, we get it. Like, okay, and then this is just, and I think this is another thing for me too. I cannot stand that word wifey. Wifey comes off as F-boy. That's the wifey. Like, ugh, it's so cringe. So that was the other thing. And that's my whole thing, right? Latteras just comes off as very church F boy, this good Christian man, but really, I like to do my thing behind closed doors. I like to get down. So I mean, to each his own, whatever. That's his thing. But yes, so essentially, I just kind of want to just talk about how people are feeling about the marriage, how people are feeling about his wife, and how people are feeling about this whole wedding, how he announced the marriage, how he introduced everyone to his wife, because seemed like very performative as well. Prior to the wedding, he did a Essence magazine spread, and the wife wasn't even in the pictures, which I thought was kind of weird, because I'm like, this is supposed to be a beautiful moment, you and your wife sharing this, uh, moment together, and you kind of decide to make her a surprise. It's not like this is the girlfriend. This is allegedly the woman that you're going to be marrying. Like, at this point, this is the woman that you're going to walk down the aisle with. Like, this is the woman that you want to share, you're going to be sharing vows with. And the fact that you keep her a secret in the Essence magazine, I mean, she could have not wanted to do it, but this is what people have been saying, and a lot of people just been feeling like this, like that he does these things for attention. A lot of people can kind of see through his veil. Thing that really stuck out to people, and I kind of was like, that is kind of interesting, is that he has this new book. He has this new book that he's releasing, and the date of the book release lined up really well with the wedding and everything like that. Now, some will just say, oh, okay, he's a marketing genius. This is supposed to be your moment. This is supposed to be, a moment between you and your bride. Why does it seem like you're going on this whole PR tour? And that's another thing a lot of people were saying. A lot of people were saying that it was just for PR. This was all for show. And I'll save my personal opinions towards the end of the video. But a lot of people were saying it too, like this is PR. This is, oh, he did all of this strategically. The Essence spread he did, when he proposed to her, and is he even really into his wife as much as he says he is? Watch the interview that they did on the Dear Future Wifey podcast, and I guess he accomplished his goal, because me, as someone who could give two craps about the Dear Future Wifey podcast, is now watching the Dear Future Wifey podcast, right? So I'm watching it. It's 2 hours and 18 minutes. I'm like, oh my God, this is absolute torture. I was like, okay, is anything ringing any alarms? Is anything ringing any bells for me or anything like that? And I'm going to be honest, a lot of things in there didn't really come off as like, oh girl, you better run. Now, what I will say was two things that stuck out to me about in the interview was the fact that they just got married, and now they're doing a whole press tour. Now, as newlyweds, you're supposed to be enjoying each other. You're supposed to enjoy each other for a year. You don't want all that outside press and everybody in your business. And you want to take some time. You want to enjoy your spouse. Save all that stress for later. But business calls, right? I guess. So the second part that stuck out to me, the therapist that was interviewing them, she asked about the sex. And I'm like, first of all, that's none of y'all business. Like, what like this couple just got married. Why are you asking about the sex life? You could tell by her laugh. She laughed it off, but she seemed a little uncomfortable. Like, any girl that's like not really into that life like that, she's like, I don't want to, that's none of y'all business. Like, I'm not about to talk about that.
The Band-Aid and ask the question that everybody's asking, girl, how was the sex?
Guys, I don't know if it's me. Tell me if this is me. But have you ever wondered what sex is like with Latteras? I don't think not one person.
Miss Deb Unfiltered, and she was killing me. The way she says, Latteras, Latteras, Latteras. Why she asked about that. That's his whole brand, right? Like he left his ex-wife because she wasn't giving him enough sex, and he was he talked about masturbating to this one woman and this one thing, and I'm just like, well, goddamn, okay, well, well, maybe that's his brand, just the dear future wifey brand, just being open, just being honest about things that I guess really go on in a marriage. It does kind of seem off about Latteras, but not to the point where it's like, oh yeah, like, okay, you can definitely see it, like, oh yeah, he has an ulterior motive. I don't think that's what it is. I just think maybe, he's in the spotlight, he has fame, he has like notoriety, and maybe he just had to do some strategic moves. I'm hoping that, he talked to his wife about all of these things. I hope he didn't do anything that was like ill will or try to like trick her in any way. I hope not. And that's not really what I'm giving. But it just sometimes the terrorist just gives off, he wants to be the F boy still, and maybe it's like people have been saying like, hey bro, it's been 5 years and you have the dear future wifey. Well, where is she at? What is she doing? Like, you didn't find her yet? And everything takes time. People are rushing her. It's like everything takes time, right? Me, like I said, me personally, I don't get any ill will from the marriage, right? I don't think he did this because he was desperate. Because a lot of people are saying, I don't think he married someone he didn't really want. I truly don't believe, like, when I see them, I feel like they have a genuine connection. It doesn't seem like anything was arranged. It seemed like it was mutual attraction. Latteras, he even seems happy. Do I think that the wedding was staged? No. I don't think the wedding was staged. I don't think he is using her as just for the brand. It seems like he waited, and he generally got someone who he really wants and really is attracted to. Him being married, maybe he'll come off as more genuine, more sincere. So that's really all I have to say about this video. Tell me what you think about the Dear Future Wifey podcast. Do you watch it or you don't? But that's it for today's video. Thank you for watching. Bye.